Louisville already has one of the best rosters in college basketball, maybe the best, but there's still one missing piece, one player that could turn this team into the preseason national title favorites. And somehow, Louisville might actually have a shot to land him. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Louisville Sports Talk. I'm your host. My name is Cam. First off, I want to start this off by saying Louisville and Coach Pat Kelsey deserve all the attention that they're getting for an unbelievable offseason. If I were to give them a grade on how well they've done so far, I'd give them an A. But due to some recent developments, Louisville has a chance to turn that A into a A++. Even after some would say emptying their bank account, Louisville is still in pursuit of not only players, but difference makers. Enter Iowa State transfer and potential NBA draftee Milan Momcilovic. By now, I'm sure everyone's already heard the news, but in case you haven't, let me fill you in. Milan Momcilovic is a 6'8", 225-pound absolute sniper coming out of Iowa State. He averaged almost 17 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, shooting 50% from the field, while shooting an absurd 48.7% from 3 with almost 8 attempts per game. On his career, he shoots almost 43% from 3. Last year alone, he made 136 out of 279 attempts. To say that Momcilovic would be the best three-point shooter coming back to college basketball next season would be putting it very lightly. If he were to return to college basketball next season, and that's a giant if, he would instantly become one of the most sought-after players in the transfer portal in quite some time. The rumors are he's going to command a paycheck anywhere north of $5 million, and with the teams that are involved with his recruitment, I have no doubt in my mind that's the money he's going to pull. For the past couple of weeks, there's been some rumors amongst the fan base that Louisville has been interested in Momcilovic, but it wasn't until the national media started listing teams like Kentucky, St. John's, and Louisville are reportedly the top 3 teams to be bidding to land the talents of Momcilovic. And that's where I believe his agent is putting those teams out there as potential suitors, just in case as a fallback plan, if Momcilovic were to return to college, he would get a nice payday. There's an interesting case to be made for each team, but Momcilovic himself sat down with Isaac Trotter of CBS Sports at the draft combine and had some very interesting things to say. Let's take a listen.
I'm still focused on the draft. I haven't even talked to any colleges yet, so I'm sure if I have to go back, there's a spot open for me somewhere. But, I'm just still going through this process. The deadline is the 27th of May, so I still got a couple weeks. I'm going to obviously finish this week, and I got to work out for I got some teams lined up to work out for the next couple weeks. So,
what do you need to hear from the NBA to stay?
I just think, very high interest. Obviously some promises, but I don't think teams promise that early, that deadline. So I think, if there's obviously good guaranteed contracts, that'd be good. Obviously, if it's the later second round, those are usually two-way contracts, so then I'd probably go back, but, we'll see.
How much does the new eligibility rule of 5 and 5 kind of play into your decision there? Just another extra potential year to cash in college?
That doesn't affect me at all, really.
Yeah.
I want to go to the NBA. That's the goal, so I'm trying to go this year. So I'm not really trying to spend another 2 years in college.
Last one for me, but what are you looking for if you return to college from a role perspective?
If I return to college, just kind of a fit that, I can play well in and hopefully help my chances to go to the NBA the year after that. And hopefully I'm on a good team that, we can go far in the tournament.
The first thing he says is, I'm still focused on the draft. I haven't even talked to any colleges yet. Very interesting choice of words to me. He's basically saying he's 100% trying to get drafted this year, and what college basketball player isn't? But I think it's interesting for him to at least acknowledge that he's had 0 conversations with any teams thus far, which leads me to believe that his representatives are reaching out to teams and speaking on his behalf. But his main goal is to get drafted. He's not entertaining any thoughts or looking at any dollar signs. He's 100% committed to getting drafted. To me, that sounds like someone who doesn't want to come back to college basketball next season. And I already know what a bunch of people are going to say. What is he supposed to say? Is he going to admit that he wants to go back to college next season? No. But to openly admit that he's not talking to any teams during this process just goes to show that he does not want to come back to college next year. And then the last part of it. if he were to return to college. If I return to college, a fit that I can play well in, hopefully to help my chances to go to the NBA the year after that. Hopefully I'm on a good team that can go far in the tournament. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds to me like Louisville is in as good as a position as they could have hoped for to land Momcilovic. I'm not sure if it's because Papa John's back in the house or if it's because Pat Kelsey is out of his freaking mind. But regardless, Louisville still somehow has some money left over to land him. We know Kentucky has a large amount of money left over after not landing Tyron Stokes. They're in a desperate position for some good news and they need some three-point shooters. St. John's is in a similar position as they've had an underwhelming portal season thus far. They have the funds, they have the Hall of Fame coach in Rick Pitino, one that is just coming off of a Sweet 16 appearance, so he has that going for him. But speaking of all these teams and all the money that's being thrown around, let's listen in to what Momcilovic had to say about all this money.
I'm not going to go money hunt for like the top school that offers me the most money. So, I mean, obviously it's really cool to hear some of those numbers and, you know, it's tempting. I mean, I could get more money in college, that's the bottom line, than a contract in the NBA right now, but I'd rather play for go to the NBA.
He said, and I quote, "I'm not going to money hunt. I can get more money in college. That's the bottom line, more than a contract in the NBA right now." But he wants to go to the NBA. This just proves everything that I'm saying. He does not want to be in college next season. Louisville's in the right spot, but will it be enough in the end? The draft deadline is approaching on May 27th. We don't have that much longer to wait and figure out. But speaking on the draft, let's stay on that topic. Over the past week, there's been a small but growing amount of Louisville fans that are starting to get worried about whether or not Flory Bidunga will come and play for us next season, or if he'll stay in the draft. And to my knowledge, the reasoning behind the growing concern was for two reasons. For one, there was a singular mock draft that had Bedunga going late in the first round. That's it. Just one mock draft. Just one mock draft out of the dozens that project him as a mid to late second round pick. And second is because of this video right here. Take a watch.
Then I assume you've thought about a whole line. Have you made a decision on that front yet?
I mean, not really, because I feel like it's a day-to-day thing, and then, you know, obviously I'm here. It's a great honor to be here, and then just want to hear from them, and then, you know, I always say if I have a good seed, then, you know, the NBA is my dream, so I'll probably stay in for sure.
Do I go back to school? Do I go to the NBA? What are you trying to get out of this process to help you make that hard decision, whether you want to go to Louisville or you want to keep your name in the draft?
I mean, yeah, pretty much everything, you know, feedback and, you know, how the team perceive you as a player, you know, what do they see you, what can you do when you get there, you know, all that is like a big factor, you know, if you have a good seed in the draft, perhaps, you know, all that will be effective for it.
So when it comes to how you're feeling right now, which way are you leaning?
That's a good one. I mean, I'm here, you know, get a lot of feedback, you know, I'm pretty confident about it, and then, you know, the NBA has been my dream since I picked up the ball of basketball, so.
Is there a certain ultimatum that you want to get? Like if you were to say, hey, I'm going to be a first round pick, is that something where you'd want to stay in the NBA, or is it still up in the air?
Oh yeah, I would love to. Put my name on where I signed to. I'm joking. Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Thank you, man.
This was the main reason why you saw a lot of local fans starting to become worried. And I'm not going to lie, I felt that as well. I mean, we're Louisville fans. There's a lot of PTSD and unresolved trauma amongst the fan base. So at the first thought that Bedunga could potentially stay in the draft and not be a Cardinal next season was definitely something that crossed my mind. But after his official combine listings, standing at 6'7" with no shoes on, and with his only offensive game being an interior post presence or an athletic rim runner, without an outside shot, Bedunga isn't sniffing anywhere near the first round. And that's not a knock on him, it's just I'm being honest. And with the amount of money that Louisville's going to pay him next season and potentially further than that, he'd be mistaken to leave all that money on the table. All latest mock drafts now have Bedunga going undrafted, so I have no fear as to where he'll be playing ball next season. Without a doubt in my mind, Bedunga will be in a Louisville uniform next year. He would be dumb to not go through this process, to have these conversations with these agents, to get an understanding of what he needs to do in order to get drafted next year. So many players use this as an opportunity to get themselves familiar with what they need to do, what area of their game they need to grow to get drafted. Bedunga isn't the first, and he's not going to be the last. Speaking of the latest mock drafts, Momcilovic is now projected as a second-round pick, going out around number 40. If I were to keep seeing his name not showing up on the draft boards in the first round, leading up until the deadline decision, then I would probably see him coming back to school next year. He'd be dumb to leave all that amount of money on the table, just the same way Bedunga would be. And for all you psychos that stayed and watched the whole video, I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be talking very soon. Until next time, this is Cam with Louisville Sports Talk, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.